Huge day yesterday. 5-1 across the board, and we cashed in on multiple slips. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Marquee Picks, and today I got the NBA player props for you for Friday, January 23rd. We got another packed slate of games today, and I'm very excited to show off the picks I got for you guys here today. So I think we got some good spots. So hopefully we can come through here with another profitable day, just like yesterday. As you guys can see, we had a very strong day yesterday on the channel and especially in the Discord. For the YouTube props, we went 3-1 from the 4 props that I posted. And in the Discord, we got back on the winning track with the 2 picks I posted in there as well. So cash slips across the board in there, cash props across the board everywhere. But before I recap it real quick, guys, I want to, bring something up real quick. I don't know. I just want to get a little bit of feedback from you guys. Do you guys like the 4 props that I post on the YouTube channel for the NBA? I know I usually post, 5 to 6 props per slate, but I've been posting 4. I don't know if you guys want me to post any more than that, or if you guys like the smaller, props that I give you guys, because I don't know if you guys are expecting me to go 6-0 and stuff like when I post more props. When I post short amount of props, we have a higher percentage chance of winning all of those props. When I post 6 props, more than likely we're not going to go 6-0 every night. So let me know down in the comments down below if you guys like this shorter amount of picks. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see more picks. If you guys don't care that much about, putting these all in one slip, and expecting a 6-0 sweep, I'll post 2 extra props for sure. But let me know down below if you guys like the current structure of these videos. I just want to give you all the best chance possible to win every single day. And I feel like we do with a shorter amount of picks, it gives a better chance of winning and, makes everybody more happy, So, yeah, let me know down below what you guys like. So let's go ahead and recap these props from yesterday, the 4 that I posted. Kicking it off here with the one that didn't hit. Cooper Flag, under 30.5 PRA. He finished with 34. And I'm going to keep this short and simple. This prop came down to that second quarter of this game, where Cooper Flag rattled off 6 straight points, all on putbacks. So he got 2 putbacks on 1 possession. So that's 6 PRA right there from those 2 possessions. And that turned out to probably be the difference of this pick here. Take those 6 points away. He's at least at 28 PRA. Maybe he's going to be stuck on 30 at some point, But I mean, Draymond Green there was just laziness there on the rebounding situations there. You got to rebound the damn ball. They didn't. Cooper Flag went over. Very unfortunate there. I thought we had a very good spot there, and it wasn't looking great there, but there was still a chance that we could win under this line. He just had a very big fourth quarter, scoring the ball there. He came out in a spurt and just rattled off 6 straight points there. But I mean, it was one there we weren't totally out of the realm of hitting that, but it wasn't looking great because of that second quarter run with the putbacks. So very unfortunate. That was the lone pick that tripped up for the free props that I posted yesterday, because we got straight greens across the board here rest of the way. Kevin Durant, over 34.5 PRA. I mean, if you guys listened to my analysis yesterday, I said this would probably be the game of the night in the NBA. It definitely was. Went to overtime. It probably shouldn't have went to overtime there. Goaltending call there on Maxey. That was egregious. Absolutely egregious. Clear goaltending, and they didn't call it. Should have been game over in regulation. But the 76ers were able to win this game in overtime. But yeah, that was kind of crazy how they didn't call goaltending on that layup from Maxey. But Kevin Durant was already well over his line anyway, so it's not like we needed overtime or anything. But, one of those things, the NBA is kind of, officials be selling sometimes. So that was definitely an interesting spot there. But again, like I said, it was going to be a great game to watch. It definitely was. And Kevin Durant had a very, very strong game. Paolo Banchero, now this is the one that you guys may have either had a good night on or a bad night on, depending on which line you lock this pick in at. So, when I locked this pick in, we had it at 34.5 PRA. That was with Franz Wagner expecting to play. Once Wagner got ruled out yesterday, this line jumped all the way up to 38.5 PRA. So when we had this locked in, we had an insane edge versus the updated line. So over 34.5 PRA, he finished with 35, and I tell you, he didn't even play the fourth quarter in this game thanks to the blowout. The Magic were down by 30 points heading into the fourth quarter, but luckily Banchero was able to do enough in that third quarter there to end out his night and get 35 PRA. It was a sweat. I didn't really think he was going to get there because of the way the game was going, the way the script was going. I knew he wasn't going to play the fourth quarter the way this game was being played, but he was able to get it there before getting taken out there in that fourth quarter. So it was a sweat. If you guys had this at any other higher line, you were probably having a miserable night. But those of you that got this at 34.5, hey, we're cooking good here today. So now we get to Marcus Smart over 8.5 points. And man, this one I was not expecting to hit at all. Just basically because he had 2 points at halftime. And he was 1 for 4 from the field at that point in halftime. And it was actually a blowout game. It was a 20-point lead for the Clippers. And I was like, is Smart going to get there? Probably not, unless he goes on a little bit of a heater. He's not hitting the 3-ball. I mean, he had some opportunities early in this game he just didn't take advantage of. Just like I said in my analysis yesterday, he's going to get the opportunities to shoot the ball in this game. He's just got to make them. But in that first half, he had a wide open 3-pointer. I was like, okay, this is going to be a good start to this game, right? Airballs the heck out of that crap. Terrible shot from Marcus Smart. How do you throw up an airball wide open 3-pointer and you're in the NBA? That doesn't make any sense to me, and you're supposed to be a 3-point shooter. So that was frustrating. Right when I saw that happen early on in this game, I was like, okay, I know how this is going to go. And the fact that I had Smart on a lot of other slips as well just really frustrated me. So, I turned this game off at the third quarter. I left. I went to the gym. I was like, I ain't gonna do this anymore. I turned the box score back on. I see he's at 7 points. So 7 points with like 3 minutes left in this game. So I'm like, I'm okay. I'm turning the game on. We're gonna watch this, see how this finishes out. It turns out, in like the last 2 minutes of this game, it's a competitive game at this point. So the Lakers made a run. I believe it's like a 10-point game or so around there, or 8-point game. But the Lakers are on a fast break here. Luka Doncic is running down the court. Marcus Smart's running down the left wing. I'm like, give him the ball. He's wide open. Luka feeds him. Smart, you haven't hit a 3-pointer all game. Make this damn shot. He pulls up, drills it, gets to the over, 8.5, finishes with 10 points. Very, very big-time sweat there in a spot that I was not expecting to happen, especially with the way this game was going. The Clippers building a 20-point lead there in that third quarter. I was like, Smart's probably not going to play his full allotment of minutes. But, it's one of those, I turned it on. I'm like, oh, he's going to get there. He has a chance. And, it was a very big-time cash there from Marcus Smart because I had him on a lot of other slips. I post all my winning slips in the Discord. Well, I post all my slips in general that I play for the day in the Discord, no matter if I win or lose them. But yeah, if you guys want to see every slip that I played yesterday, I posted them all in the Discord if you guys want to see them. But these are just a couple others here in the middle. De'Aaron Fox, Jamal Murray, these were the 2 Discord props that we had yesterday. They both came through, and to be honest, these were the most non-sweat props I think I've ever had, really, so far this year. De'Aaron Fox over 18.5 points. He damn near cashed this in the first half, but he finished with 31 points. And Jamal Murray under 36.5 points. We played this same narrative that I took Jamal Murray under his PRA against the Wizards a few videos ago. Didn't go well. I played the same narrative once again. This time it came through. Although it wasn't a blowout. Jamal Murray just wasn't looking to be that big of a scorer in this game, and he didn't really shoot that effectively either. So 2 props from the Discord. We've had a little bit of a struggle in the Discord. We've been going like 1-1 over the last couple days, but the Discord props have been really, really strong for us throughout the start of this year, really. So back on the winning track in the Discord, and yeah, just a very, very strong night all around. Hopefully you guys cashed in on some slips as well. But if you didn't, we got a new day here today to go 4-0. So let's go ahead and jump into the NBA player props for today. So with the first prop here for today, we're going to be targeting Bobby Portis more than 13.5 points. So we got the Bucks taking on the Nuggets here, and this should be a very competitive game in my opinion. The total for this game is at 221.5. The Bucks are currently favored by 6.5 points, so they're expecting the Bucks to win this game outright. And, the Nuggets are coming off a back-to-back yesterday. And, it was a pretty competitive game. So I think that was a game where the Nuggets were hoping that they could rest some of their guys so they could be ready to go for this game. But, that was a competitive game. So back-to-back here for the Nuggets. I don't really love this spot for the Nuggets, but I really do like the spot here for the Bucks. I think the Bucks can win this game pretty easily. And if they are going to win this game, they're going to need guys like Bobby Portis to step up in the scoring department. He's been really consistent over his last 15 games scoring the ball. You guys can see he's gone over his line in 10 of his last 15 games. He's been really on a very consistent scoring streak, and I think that really continues here in this game. He's playing big-time minutes as well. He's going to be out there about 30 minutes in this game. At least I expect him to, and he should have great success. I don't really see there's too many guys that are going to affect him too much on the defensive end. He's going to get his shots up. He's a guy that loves to shoot the ball, so he's going to have plenty of chances to score in this game. He's just got to make his shots. I think he does. 13.5 points for Bobby Portis in this kind of matchup feels really, really light, and I really do expect this game to be pretty competitive as well, and I do think it has a chance to be pretty high scoring because the Nuggets do like to play with some pace, so we'll see how this game turns out in terms of game flow. But regardless, Bobby Portis should be able to get more than 13.5 points here tonight. So jumping into pick number 2, we're going to be targeting Jarrett Allen, more than 25.5 PRA. Got him projected at 30.1. So we got the Cavaliers taking on the Kings. My Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the Sacramento Kings. The Cavaliers are favored by 11.5 points, 233.5 point total. So this one is probably one of my more riskier picks here today just because of what he's been doing over his last, handful of games here. You guys can see on the screen, he's gone under this line in 9 out of 15 games this year, over his last 15 games. So he hasn't been the most productive scorer in that span, but he is a very consistent rebounder. So if you guys want another angle for this prop, if you guys don't love his scoring in this game, his rebound line at 8.5 looks very, very good. I was going to actually probably take that, but when you're looking at the matchup here against the Kings are the worst team in the NBA, one of the worst teams in guarding centers and giving up points to centers. So Allen should have a very, very big-time scoring game, in my opinion. But, you also got Evan Mobley there as well. So, I say either Evan Mobley or Jarrett Allen's going to go off in this game. One of them should. I think it's a Jarrett Allen type of day for me, in my opinion. This just seems like a very good matchup for Allen here in the pick and roll type of setting. Him and Mobley both look great today. But if you guys want another angle for this line, I would take 8.5 rebounds. That looks very, very good. But I think he's going to have an all-around day. I think this is a double-double chance for sure here for Allen. I think he goes for 10 and 10 at least. But I think he can honestly get to like he can have a very huge rebounding day, and he can also have a pretty big scoring day. So, that's why I'm taking the combo stat here, not specifically his rebounds, because I think given this matchup, the Kings are so bad at giving up stats to centers. I think the combo stat's the way to go here, and it's also a risk because Jarrett Allen has been, limited a little bit this year. He's not playing the most minutes. He probably sees barely 30 minutes a game, but he's had games this year where he's played mid-20s in minutes. So, it's one of those, depending on how the Cavaliers run their rotations, they kind of, do it differently depending on how the game flow is going. So hopefully the game is flowing in our direction here for the over for Jarrett Allen in this game. But it is probably one of my more riskiest spots in terms of his data trends. It's not the strongest in terms of his trends, but it's the matchup purposes that I like for this game, and that's why I'm taking his over on the PRA. So jumping into pick number 3, we're going to be targeting Deni Avdija, under 38.5 PRA. Got him projected at 33.1. So those of you that have been following me for a while, you guys know how I feel about Deni Avdija. And majority of the time we're taking this guy, we're taking his under. Now, we look for certain spots to take his under. And in those spots, we have majority of the time been right. I mean, I think we've taken Deni Avdija probably at least 10 times this year on the channel, if I had to guess. And I would say at least, 7 out of those 10 games that we've been right on his under. Majority of the time we're taking his under. I don't think I've taken it over. Maybe one time I took his over. But, this is a similar kind of pick to Cooper Flag from yesterday. A guy that we've been taking a good amount of and we've been pretty consistent on. I like taking these kind of guys that I get right on a lot. So this is one of those spots here where the Trailblazers are on a back-to-back here. It's the Trailblazers taking on the Raptors. And the current spread for this game is in favor of the Raptors. They're favored by 3.5 points. The total is set at 224.5. So nothing's really crazy in terms of pace in this game. The Raptors don't play very fast, and I don't really expect a ton of scoring in this game. So 38.5 is a little bit of a lighter line that we've seen from Deni Avdija. Especially over his last, handful of games. We've seen his PRA line, above 40 for majority of those. So they have adjusted this line downwards. I feel like it's a pretty sharp line, but I just think this is a spot here where we've been right on this guy for a long time. And usually when we're taking his under, we're taking him in pretty tough matchups. This is a tough matchup here. The Raptors have a lot of good, wings that can, stifle Avdija's scoring ability, in my opinion. I do think that they're going to put either Scotty Barnes or Brandon Ingram on Avdija. I think they put Scotty Barnes on him, if I'm being completely honest here, in terms of matchups. And this is a Raptors team that likes to play small, too. They do very good job at it. So I don't really see this being a very high scoring environment. I also see this game where the Raptors, I think, can actually run away with this game. And maybe there's some blowout potential here. I think the Raptors can honestly win this game. Maybe Avdija, Trailblazers on a back-to-back. Maybe they don't push him as much. I think that's why this line is a little bit lower than it has been usually. Also with the pace involved as well. So I just don't love this spot here for Avdija. Call me a Deni Avdija hater, but I still think he's just not that great of a player. Even though he has been killing it, recently. I've just been taking his under a lot. So gonna be taking it here once again. See how it plays out. So jumping into the last pick before I get there, real quick, guys, drop a like on this video. You guys have been killing these videos recently. Keep on doing that. Only takes a second to do. Appreciate you guys a ton. Hopefully I give you guys some free wins here today. So let's go ahead and close out the video here for today. We're going to be targeting Jaylen Brown, under 42.5 PRA. Got him at 38.9. So this one is the riskiest pick of the slip. And, this is me trying to play another narrative here. So we got the Celtics taking on the Nets. The Celtics are 8.5 point favorites, 216.5 point total. So this game environment stinks just straight off the bat. 216.5 point total is miserable for any kind of scoring you want to expect in this game. So seeing how this game environment is shaping up and the blowout potential involved here, I think the Celtics come out here and blow out the Nets. I really do. Also, the Nets last game, they lost by 54 points to the Knicks. So the Nets just got their asses handed to them last game. The Celtics should do the same here in this game. I don't see why they wouldn't. And if they do that, Jaylen Brown's probably not going to play his full allotment of minutes. So if you're asking Jaylen Brown to get over 42.5 points, in maybe 3.5 quarters, I don't think he gets there. And if you guys go back through his game logs on this season, he has been very consistent at the 42.5 point PRA line. Every single one of his games are coming right down to that line. He's not really smashing them over, and he's not really going way under. He's been right around it, pretty much in every game. So very consistent in his scoring and, rebounding ability, stuff like that. But you guys can see on screen here, in his last 4 matchups against the Nets, he's gone under him in all 4 of them. So, I just don't know if this game stays competitive. I really don't. I don't really see the Nets hanging with the Celtics here. It's an 8.5 point spread. So they're expecting this game to be a little competitive, but I don't see it. I think the Celtics can win by at least 20 here in this game. So if that happens, Jaylen Brown should go under his PRA. It is the riskiest pick of this slip, but, we're going to lock it in. We're going to play the blowout narrative, and hopefully it goes in our favor. So that's the 4 props I got for you guys here today. If you guys enjoyed them, once again, smash a like on this video. Really do appreciate it. Let's try to go back-to-back very strong days here. Stay tuned for those free bonus props in the Discord. We're coming right back at it here once again here for the extra bonus props. So those of you that are in the Discord, get advantage to extra props here that you won't find here on YouTube. So highly recommend you guys get in there. And you guys have been seeing, over the last handful of videos that we've been cashing in on those bonus props. very consistently. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.